All right, welcome back to Pittsburgh Her. Here we are. We have a couple of episodes under our belts, and now we just feel like we can freely just say anything. Well, not anything, but we do encourage all of our guests to please email, text, message us on social media. Let us know what you're thinking about, what you're talking about, what you want us to talk about, because we want you to weigh in. That's what this is about. It's a conversation that you may have had with a sister, a friend, a roommate, a family member, and us. Fair enough. I would be your mom. I don't know what I was going for.
Cool sister.
I mean, we're almost the same age, so just stop.
Cousin.
Anyway, we love to have a little cash conversation first with just a unique sort of, I don't know, it's not really an icebreaker, but it's to sort of figure out where we all stand and what we like and all that good stuff. So today's question, casual convo, is what is your favorite neighborhood in Pittsburgh that is not your own? Meaning where you are living now, and is there a story behind it? Does anybody want to go first? Because I love all the nods. Jocelyn.
Oh boy. I love them all.
Yeah, I know.
I'm choosing in my mind between the Mexican War Streets and Allentown. I'm gonna go with Allentown.
Okay.
Because I live in the South Side, so it doesn't take me long to get up the hill. I often will huff and puff my way up to the top. And I don't know if anyone, if you've been to Allentown recently, it has so many cute things.
Yep.
Very cool stores. It's so great. I love, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Bottlerocket.
Oh, yeah.
Dive bar that if you've been, that's built out of the old, what's the word I'm looking for?
Lyceum.
Yes, the Lyceum. Thank you. I'm obsessed with that bar.
It's literally on the Crooked Road
best.
and the police station's right there. I
Yes.
think
Right
next
door.
door.
Yeah. And it's
Right
walking
next
back
door.
in time, and you can go with people of any age. I took my parents there, and they were losing their minds over all of the stuff from the 70s in
Yes.
Pittsburgh on the walls.
Right.
But also, it has things for everyone else.
Right.
It's very, Instagrammable, but also, has really good drinks. And I never met a hot dog and a pickle I didn't like.
I know, that is so crazy.
They have a hot dog cart. It's great.
I have this giant vat of pickles that I am I need to just take that in and give them to you because they take up so much space in my pantry.
A bar pickle, you go there, they give you a giant skull.
Yeah. Instead of pantry.
And they'll take all the pickle juice. I always ask them to make me a pickle beer, and they always do it.
How about that?
Allentown.
Allentown. All right, Bria, you lived there. What's yours?
I did live there. I lived in pretty much every area of Pittsburgh besides the West Side. I never lived over there. But
any reason?
No, I just never had a reason to be on the West, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right now, I'm living on the North Side.
Do you love it?
However, the North Side is my favorite place out of everywhere I've lived. I'm an East Side girl at heart, I'm from the East Side. But I love living on the North Side. South Side was cool, but I love living on the North Side.
Okay.
So close to the city. It's just we can scooter downtown and be involved in everything that's going on. And it's just nice. I hear fireworks from the stadiums in my backyard. I can see them. I love the North Side.
So walkable, so many different little places.
It's so good.
I love seeing all of them, all of these neighborhoods just evolve. Yeah. And the fact that you could insert any neighborhood at this point and say, oh, I love the shops. I love the eclectic whatever. It's just so unique.
So North Side did a particularly good job, though, of not erasing its character.
Yeah.
I'm not here to dump on Lawrenceville because a lot of my family lives there, but I really, really wanted to live in a house with character, old features, and they went through a big flip era where they took out a lot of beautiful elements of the homes, and I could not find one over there that hadn't been flipped.
Yeah.
And the South Side still has, and the North Side all the old features. I don't know. Lawrenceville is wonderful. My family's business is over there. I love it very much. But in terms of the architecture of the houses, I think the North Side's done a really good
winning,
job.
I think. Yeah.
I would go with Point Breeze for that reason because love, love, love. My family jokes that I am proximity challenged. I am proximity challenged. And I love when people think like I've just moved here. I'm like, oh no, 48 years of this.
You still use a map to get around.
I do too.
Put your address.
Oh, terrible, yeah.
Well, I want to know where the traffic is.
Right.
That's why.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to
The
know
exact ETA. Yeah.
No, I definitely forget where I'm going. But Point Breeze, to me, I mean, those houses, I literally could look like a stalker. Like, you slow down and you just look at those houses. Like, I know where Tomlin lives. I swear I don't care that he lives here. I just know these great houses, and it's just beautiful for the architectural advantage. Yeah.
I'll pick the South Side. I love the South Side. I feel like it was super cool for a while, and then like everyone just started dumping on it, being like, the South Side sucks. It's drunk people and
It's so dangerous.
I know.
It is kind of dangerous.
Is it dangerous?
It's gotten so much better. I mean, it's only dangerous for like 15 minutes on like Friday and Saturday night.
So
It's just one specific
Right,
strip.
exactly. Maybe just don't be there at like 2 o'clock in the morning on the weekend, and you're all good. Yeah, I loved it. My grandma was from the South Side. I have a great picture of her on the 10th Street Bridge when it opened, with her best friend. Yeah, we'll put it on Insta or something. Yeah,
I love that.
And I love the pierogies, the Ukrainian like festival that they have.
Oh yeah, I
there.
forgot about that.
Yeah, so good. And then there's also like the art. What are the lofts up on the brew house?
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you,
they're
Kristy.
gorgeous.
They're gorgeous.
Kristy could be a tour guide.
I know.
The South Side is a huge neighborhood. People just forget how big it is.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
there's a Sarah
That
Street.
is so true.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
I love that you ended with that.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah, Kristy, the
you.
tour guide. Graver, where would you choose?
I mean, I'm all over the place, but I think the place that I am the most is Bloomfield.
Oh, love them.
Because I love, my favorite place in Pittsburgh is Allegheny Cemetery, which is in
cemetery.
Lawrenceville, and it's in like Friendship, and then it's like but it's also, there's like a side on the Bloomfield side. So, but Bloomfield, I just I don't know, there's just so much to explore. They're old and new and just, I just really love, there's a lot going on. I mean, Fet Fisk, and they're, nominated for James Beard Award, and there's the Brothmonger, and there's Dad's Dog and Burger is new. There's so much cool stuff, and it's just fun. I see something new every single time I walk around there. So I'm like a mad woman walker, and I've been walking around the north side for the last 2 hours because that's what I like to do. But that's the best thing to do, is just go and
love that
explore
too.
a neighborhood that you've never been to,
Be a tourist in your own
and just
city.
walk around.
Yeah.
And you're gonna find something. So, and there's always a brewery. Like on the south side, there's Vellum, which is great.
So great.
And
Pinball on the other side. You can
Right.
take your kids.
Right,
give
Trace
them a
Brewing
pile
opened on my
of,
birthday, and
Yeah.
so
coins. Yeah, tokens. It's still
Right.
tokens. You don't need one
You
of those
don't
Chuck
need-
E. Cheese
right,
cards.
you
They give you actual tokens of vellum. They have pickleball sometimes. I
know, where I've
done in there.
Yes.
But it's fun.
Events there. They have skate events there. Really cool.
Yeah, they do a lot of. So there's so much to
women-owned.
explore, and women-owned. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Jen is awesome. So and they do lots of cool events. So every neighborhood in Pittsburgh is cool. And if you don't know every neighborhood, go to East End Brewing, because they made a beer for every single one of the 90 neighborhoods in Pittsburgh, which is amazing.
That's cool.
So
That was so good. It was like we rehearsed that and we didn't. I love
Good job, us.
All right. So Sarah, what are you reaching into? What is the name of that bowl? Name that bowl.
Shelby.
Shelby.
Drink the juice, Shelby. I know. She dies at the end. Spoiler.
spoiler.
Another spoiler.
The importance of maintaining mental health for women. Well,
How much time do you have?
I know.
Right.
This is a to be continued.
No, I mean, I know this is a women's podcast and we are always first and foremost, but I would lop that off and just be like, the importance of maintaining mental health. Period. Period. Stop.
Sure.
For all the humans.
Yeah.
It's super hard for women to maintain their mental health when their partners are not maintaining their mental health. So if their partners are not women, that's tricky. I just feel like everyone should have a therapist. Not your best friend, not your mom, not your cousin, sister, aunt. like a professional human who went to school to learn about how to treat mental health, just like you should have your OB-GYN and you should have your gym membership, and it's just like part of your portfolio of wellness, because I don't even know. I was lucky to be raised by two people who believed in this, like, all growing up. My mom taught nursing for a long time and she taught psych, and so it was very important in my family. Everybody always had a therapist. It was never like, I didn't understand when other people's families would be like, oh, I have that appointment, and they'd like whisper about it, and I'd be like, like, what's do you have cancer? Like, why are we whispering? What's happening? Like, no, my other appointment. And I mean, for the life of me. But yeah, you didn't talk about therapy so much, and I'm glad that feels like it's swinging the other way. It's my 2 cents on it.
I think that's very good advice.
Everyone looks straight at the doctor.
I know. Well, I agree very much with therapy. Even like the best time to get a therapist is when you don't have, when you're mentally well.
Amen.
You know, to like just have you can almost think of them as a coach. Like, I don't know, sometimes it's annoying, like for men, you have to like sell it as like something that doesn't sound therapy-ish. But you're like someone who's not your family member, who's a third party that is not involved. You'd just be amazed at how much like an hour of talking to someone about whatever.
And then they get a good baseline.
Sure. And that isn't to say that like you shouldn't have a therapist if you really are going through it.
Please.
But I always tell them like the best time to get a therapist is when, and if you're like doing mentally well, it's so much easier to navigate, because it's hard sometimes to find a therapist when you're like not in a good place and you're trying to find one. That is the worst thing, because you're like, oh my God, like the activation energy to call and see if they take your insurance and make an appointment, it just feels insurmountable.
Yes, correct.
So, do it while you're
And there's a bunch of online platforms too now that one of my good friends has been using. I think it's called Headspace. And so I think that helped when, she was looking for someone when it wasn't a great time, and that made it a little more accessible, a little less scary. She was like, oh, I can just go on this app and I can just text somebody. So I love that it's like meeting people where they are now.
I respect that. And as I've, explained before, I come from a time where it was very, like, somebody has to go. And I love that it's not that way now. I love that the spaces I'm in, it's very open. And I am very open in the sense that if my children or people in my life or talk about it, I feel like it's customizable. Maybe it's not for someone at that time. I've not been to a therapist, so I don't know. I've not. And so I don't know the benefit. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't or that I couldn't. I would say, and another reason to bring Jocelyn in is that I'm definitely in the throes of menopause. And I can feel that this would be, to your point, this would probably be a good time, because when you're first starting your menstrual cycle in particular, you have no idea that you're about to go through this roller coaster of emotions or life, right? And that's at the beginning. So then you're going through it, and now it's like, oh my gosh, maybe I need answers for why I'm feeling this way at this point. So I think it depends on where you are. I think being open to it is 100% important. I am not against it just because I've not gone, but I find help in apps. I'm very faithful. I do pray, but that only goes so far, because I could pray and then mother of somebody in 5 minutes. So if you had my bingo card, it would be that I'm a brainwashed Catholic. I always say this, I can't help myself. That's why John and Monica are laughing. But yeah, I think it's just like it's customizable. I think it depends on the person.
I think to go off of that, it's so important to also find a therapist that you are comfortable with. Like I've had a few therapists where it's like you just don't relate to me at all, and like we just didn't. Yeah, you're not my person. Like they don't have to necessarily look like you and talk like you, but you know, just find somebody that you're comfortable with and that actually can relate to what you're talking about, or can have good answers for what you're talking about. Some people just might not even know what you're talking about.
Sure.
And they're not the therapist for you. And it's okay to just keep on looking through different therapists until you find somebody you're comfortable with talking to and being like real with. So
that's a good point.
Finding somebody that you are comfortable with is so important.
But that, like Jocelyn was saying, like finding like that could seem insurmountable. It's like you have one, and then they're not the right. But like I don't want to be mean, and like I feel like sometimes whenever I was doing my sessions, I was just trying to make her laugh. And I like the times that
therapy.
The times that I was honest, she was like a deer in headlights, and she was getting back further like this, and I'm like,
yeah, she's not for you.
No.
Yeah.
right. So I just need someone that's just.
Did you leave? I have to.
I did.
Oh,
Okay, great.
ask the uncomfortable question.
But like I
Did you find someone new?
No, I'm in.
Okay,
I'm
you're shopping.
I'm an
You're
in-between
dating.
therapist, and I think that's like a very common thing now.
Yeah,
I have to say, but
definitely.
I do need to find one because again, I'm in perimenopause as well, and I'm insane.
You have to raise your hand. Hi, I'm Kristy.
Crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
So I need to talk to someone that's not going to mind my crazy, and I need someone to be mean to me and tell me how it is. Not mean, but just like, yo.
Straightforward.
Yes.
Right.
And not just make me, you know, if I cry, then I cry a lot for, you know, like watching the Golden Girls. Like, you know,
I
it's
cried
like
4 times today.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
It's okay to cry.
Who's keeping track?
Yeah, but counting.
But yeah, so I need a therapist if anyone's available. So
We'll
I'm
get you
looking.
some names.
You're like, my number is.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
I do think to the question, like, I mean, it does say like for women, I think that women have unique like stressors and line items that contribute to their mental health. And also to your point, like finding a therapist that does understand the pressures of like things unique to women, like living in a world that was not exactly designed for them, that puts pressure on them for all these things and maybe doesn't set them up for success all the time or any of the time. Plus like the emotional, but also like physical and societal things that lead to you being like, am I just failing all the time? Or whatever like your brain is telling you, that therapist does, I think, need to have some unique training in gender dynamics, because it would be ridiculous to not address that. I don't know.
All right, we love to have a little bit of one-on-one time, so we will talk about the perimenopause question, and I will answer that quickly because we love to talk about a menu or a location that we've been. Kristy obviously has been to many of them and should seriously just start a tour for us so that we know where we're going. But I wanted to shout out Love Katie Distilling if you've not been there. I've talked about this in my circles so many times that a mutual friend has mentioned, stand-up comedy there, and it looked adorable online. And you walk in, it is in Sharpsburg. You literally walk in, it is all black and white in the sense that like the color scheme, but then what's playing, like I Love Lucy, all these old like throwback shows, so cute, and it's written as a love letter. And yes, we were talking before we started that it is she's a mixologist. She does fantastic drinks, but I will tell you, it is the absolute best espresso martini I've ever had. And she bottled it up, and it is in my home.
Oh, all right.
For when I cry for the 5th time today.
Okay. And they also have mocktails, right?
They do have mocktails. Yeah, but
one of our friends might need a mocktail.
That was so good.
It's no, you can have all the booze, babe. Perimenopause, drink it all, babe.
So this is our time to say congratulations to our dear
Thank you.
Bria, DJ Femi, who secretly was pregnant for quite some time. We didn't even know.
Expecting.
So give us a couple details.
I'm expecting. That's the thing. I'm due August 22nd to be exact. Baby. See.
hottest month.
Yeah, everybody keeps making me not look forward to that. So already like not good, and so I'm like, okay, this would be fun. But yeah, we're fun.
Yeah, hopefully maybe this episode will just be declared that it's the baby, and we'll just talk about it because we have such
I'm here for it.
other people through it. So it's always a pleasure to be with you ladies, and we certainly encourage other ladies, everybody, like you said, it doesn't have to be a woman. We want to know what people want to know and what they're talking about, what's happening in their circle. So hit us up individually or at Pittsburgh Magazine through contact form on their website or Jagoff, and we want to know. And we need a tagline, we know, Sarah. But for now, thank you for joining us with Pittsburgh Her, and we can't wait to see you again.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
She couldn't wait.
I really couldn't
wait.